Welcome back. Harry and Meghan's unofficial mouthpiece, lickspittle, Omid Scobie, is back in the headlines with a new book, Endgame. Scobie and the Sussexes deny they're in cahoots, as they did with the last book, until Meghan was put under oath and had to admit actually she had emailed her aide some thoughts before they sat down with the authors, which you might think is being in cahoots. Well, are they again in cahoots? Let's discuss this with author and historian Tessa Dunlop and royal commentator Hilary Fordwich. So let me start with you, Tessa. So given you normally park yourself in the defending the indefensible about all things Sussex, what do you think of the Scobie's late, just when it seemed like they were getting off the radar, back comes Scobie with a series of apparently damning revelations about all the royals apart from the two in Montecito.
Yeah, from all the extracts that we've had access to and from the interviews that Omid's done in the likes of Paris Match, certainly he's parked his tanks firmly on their lawn. Queen Victoria recommended against royals having friendships, and if Omid was once the Sussexes' friend, I bet they could flick him off like slime right now, because the timing's terrible, and I feel that Omid is actually behind the curve on this. While you've moved on a bit, I think, I'll give you credit, and Harry and Meghan, to an extent, I think, after the sort of bomb of the Netflix and the book, have been really quite stum. Omid seems to be sort of stuck in the past.
Well, also, he's a liar. And I'll tell you how I know he's a liar, because he writes a bit about me in the book.
I know, I was going to ask you about that.
I got a copy of the book today, and I just checked, as you do. It's a digital copy. I did a little search. Up I come 3 or 4 times. And on one occasion, he states, as a fact, that I have regular phone conversations with Queen Camilla. For the record, I have never had a single phone conversation with Queen Camilla. Now, he says, as a fact, in his book, that we have regular phone conversations. That I know, personally know, is an absolute lie. He also says that when I said on Good Morning Britain that Meghan Markle was Princess Pinocchio, that apparently she reached out to me, Queen Camilla, to thank me for standing up for the firm.
Did she?
I had zero contact with Queen Camilla around that time at all.
So you've got no embossed thank you notes from Camilla?
Nothing.
Before she was a queen?
Nothing.
Is there any communication?
I did, however, as I said publicly at the time, have conversations with several other members of the royal family, but it wasn't Queen Camilla. So my point, it was come to Hilary. Hilary, I know personally that just the little bits about me are completely untrue. They're lies. So why should I believe any of this stuff?
Well, you're absolutely right to question it. I remember the time that you said that if she told you the weather, you wouldn't believe her. A few things here I would say. They say if you're going to lie, be big, go bold. He states things so factually that I think your average person, of course, they can't sift through things. They don't know that you know that these were mistruths and bold-faced lies. So if he goes so big, people will actually almost assume it's got to be true. I'll tell you something, though, Piers, that someone that nobody really is mentioning and no one's talking about, and that is Meghan Markle's dear friend, very close friend that she's posted online, whom she loves, and that is Marcus Anderson. Well, as we know, Omid Scobie has a very close relationship to him. Who knows how much of this is actually coming from him, and maybe that's the source of a lot of these lies as well, whom he's quoting.
It's a really good point, because we know because she went under oath in a court case, Meghan Markle had to admit she briefed an aide to then brief Scobie and the co-author. And what about this, Tessa? There's a point in the book where he talks about the contents of letters between King Charles and Meghan Markle, in which 2 members of the royal household, I know who they supposedly are, right, these 2 people. Let's call them royal household. That 2 of them had expressed these infamous concerns about the skin colour of baby Archie before he was born, right? But my question is, obviously he's not got that from King Charles.
No. So
he can only have got it from Meghan Markle or her friends or people she's told this to, right? So, you know, it's 2 things, this book. One is blatant lies. Secondly, stuff he can only have got from Meghan Markle.
It is deeply unhelpful and poorly timed from the Sussexes' point of view, which is why I don't think they have collaborated with him recently. Remember, this book's been a long time in the cooking. He started writing it before the Queen died. It's possible that in the wake of the Oprah Winfrey interview, when tensions were running high, that things did get spilt out, that now I expect the pair of
That racism allegation, I said this to you before, it never appeared in Harry's book.
Yeah.
In fact, it's never been mentioned again.
So they've moved on.
It's like it never no, it's like it never happened, which, by the way, is what I said at the time. I don't believe this happened. Let me go back to Hillary. Hillary, what is the reputation of Meghan and Harry in America right now? I mean, do people care?
Well, actually, I always say when Harry bangs on about mental health, most Americans, it seems, are far more concerned about the price of petrol here, gas, and the inflation rate in the US. That's sort of the main topic of conversation. But I will say this about in the US. I tell you an absolute fact. Not only can you look at the polls, Piers, but look at the A-listers, look at the Hollywood set. They're not invited to all those A-list events anymore. I think that says a lot because they're the bellwether for the American people. The paparazzi here isn't as interested in them as they were. And look what happened in New York City. They even had to make up that concocted car chase that the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, had to refute.
Anyone who's been in New York knew that story was nonsense. Jess, a final point. We've got about 30 seconds. He says this is the beginning of the end of the monarchy. Is it?
No, like I say, Omid Scobie is behind the curve. Harry and Meghan will not have wanted this book to land now. They have been very silent recently. They have dropped on the radar. They did make a few mistakes and they're trying to rebuild. Meanwhile, the monarchy's had a relatively good year, all calm on the Western Front. Let's just put along, and I expect Charles and Harry will
I actually think this might be the end game for Omid Scobie, one of the most loathsome little lickspittles in modern history. Thank you both very much indeed for joining me tonight. Uncensored next, riots in Dublin and a hard-right populist sweeps to victory in the Netherlands. Is anti-migrant rhetoric stoking unrest to our streets, or do people on the streets actually really care about this issue? Jake Berry, Kevin Maguire will debate.
Here are 5 tips for living happily. 1. Practice gratitude. Take a moment each day to appreciate the good things in your life. Being thankful for what you have can boost your happiness. 2. Surround yourself with positive people. Spend time with friends and family who uplift you. Positive relationships can bring joy and support to your life. 3. Take care of your health. Exercise regularly, eat nutritious meals, and get enough sleep. A healthy body can lead to a healthy mind and better emotional well-being. 4. Set achievable goals. Have realistic goals and work towards achieving them step by step. Accomplishing personal goals can boost your confidence and happiness. 5. Think positive thoughts. Try to have a positive outlook on life. Avoid dwelling on negative events and focus on learning from challenges. Positive thinking can improve your mood and overall perspective. Remember, happiness often comes from how you view the world and your attitude towards life. By nurturing positive thoughts and healthy relationships, you can increase your happiness and find more satisfaction in your daily life.